the case as well, 50% win rate. But just to cast your mind back to a year ago, the warm-up edition of the Monaco Gaming Show, this lineup potentially would have been the legs of Endpoint versus Vodafone Giants. And if you were an Endpoint fan, I'm sorry to bring up old memories. That was a 3-0, but mind you, Virtuoso was on that team, no longer the case. But this game one finally underway with the right conditions here, and Rise with a decent open chance here, tries to force it through, not happening just yet, but there is a second wave coming across here, and the player that Spooks was highlighting cannot get it in.
It's kind of funny also to think about, yes, Virtuoso got kicked off Endpoint, he still made it here, still came here, and just barely lost to Dignitas with the reverse sweep. He still was on the stage to play, so all respect to that.
Huge credit to, of course, getting into these situations here, but Queso to the back lines here. They've earned a right here through the qualifiers, had a slip up in qualifier one, and eventually got here through the fourth and final one here as this one to the back line. Metanours, whip up the ball here until the follow through here, and good defense here. Seiko straight across, and that's goal number one.
A good backfire right away from Endpoint. You saw Team Queso getting a tiny bit of a better start, but Seiko instantaneously punishes a tiny mistake, a tiny bit of a bad touch out to the side, and boom, it ends up in the back of your own net, and Endpoint opens us up right away. As this ball goes on to the side, it's Jojo taking control with the flip reset as well, and the musty flick, getting it into the middle, but no one to find apart from Relating Wave blocking him off.
Potentially, with that being the case here, 90 seconds already gone by, that one goal going against Queso. We said they had to come out the blocks firing here. They have yet to do that here. Back across here, goes low. That's excellent. That looks like a wide open net. It is, and that is 1-1.
Jojo instantaneously punishing it back. It's a tiny mistake from both these teams, and you see it right away. You get punished. You cannot make a mistake here on this field with these players. You are not allowed to make those types of mistakes. It's what we like to see from these teams, and it's what we're seeing right here.
We talk about these teams not being allowed to make mistakes here. We talk about high-level quality. This team went to Sweden. We keep mentioning that fact. They were highly tipped off here, but let's not forget about it. If we cast your mind to the start of the season, Spooks, a lot of them had them written off as a team that wasn't going to do much. They had a youngster on the team who was unproven at that time.
Unproven? Well, I don't think anyone is gonna say that at this point anymore. Unproven can be thrown out of the window. He has proven everything and a lot more than what we expected or could have ever hoped for. But right now it's Fatira looking with the flip reset, doesn't get it past Psycho, who is in the right spot at the right time. It's now still Endpoint on the defensive end, has to get past Yo-Yo. Just Relating with taking a bit of control. Fatira blocking him off, looking to get it into the midfield once again. Doesn't get it because Relating Wave is in its path.
Well, at least into the middle here, that idea of a pathway is might be favouring Endpoint. Backs away, force 50 and Metanours. Well, they have a bit of time here in the crucial match against FaZe. He was unfortunately not firing on all cylinders, and this is a decent couple of attacks here by Endpoint. Ricochets all the way back, 2 minutes still kicking around in this game one here. Endpoint not dominating, and Queso, they've grown into it. They've got a bit of life into it. Rise to bring it into middle, not happening, and we go back into this even battle.
A bit of life, but Relating Wave is taking away that life with this demo, and the spawn is just perfect for Team Queso. That is exactly what you need at the right time. Spawns in and gets a good pinch away from his own field. Now Psycho is in an awkward spot. Demo comes out once again from Metanours. Endpoint, they may have changed rosters a tiny bit, but their mentality is still there of, if you're in the way, get out of the way, we're bumping or demoing you.
I haven't seen plenty of demos so far here, but there's always that sort of quiver. Ready and waiting here as this ball waiting to be popped up. It does eventually do so here off the ceiling, straight down. Unfortunately, Queso not able to get the full attacks going here. Back across into the middle here at Endpoint. Too sluggish. They're not able to bounce on the clearance just right now. Are they trying to absorb all the pressure? Doesn't feel like it. It looks a bit lethargic as Metanours is beaten. Relating Wave not.
And there comes a quick counter attack that almost finds the back of the net, and Relating Wave second time coming, and he finds it himself after a double fake. No, Seiko actually, apparently he touches that. Apparently he does touch that. Don't know how.
We'll let that one be decided by everybody else. Either way, the scoreboard's the only thing that everybody will be caring right now. 2-1. 40-odd seconds near enough to get the second goal here for Team Queso. Straight around here, forced into a ball. Left lingering for Joyo to do something with it. Force fit the across field. And Related Wave redirects it, not with full control, however.
Back into the yard box. You see that Seiko with a really awkward save. Does get it though. Joyo has the control, has the flip reset. Can he get the touch? He brings it down beautifully.
If you asked me before coming into this broadcast, this was the match of the quarter-final. Might be living up to the billing. What a goal. Endpoint baffled by Team Queso. 4 goals apiece, 2-2. And 22 seconds before OT. We shall have a bit more action here unless Endpoint would like to remove the option here as that's wide open. Off the line near enough here in Seiko. Right around here, 10 seconds, the full countdown of Metanors. Out of position, Related Wave drops all the way back, and that is a cushion required.
It's still Endpoint on the orange side, but doesn't have the control. And this ball would just drop on down. Game number 1, it's an overtime, and how exciting could it be as Team Queso trying to get onto the offense right from the get-go, isn't able to do it right on there. Metanors goes too high. Lucky for him, Seiko is behind him and Relating Wave behind there. All of them following up on that one missed touch.
First time these two teams played in the best of 7. We've mentioned about their track record so far. Want to make sure you're an Endpoint fan to keep squashing the hopes here, Queso. This is not the way to do it. Metanors low boost, infield it shall be, but Queso comfortably into the corner. Infield pass only to be met by very little resistance here. Back into, hopefully something will occur here, and that's a decent save by Joyo once more.
And once again, you can see Endpoint is looking for these demos. They're looking to create some type of disturbance on the defense. And while Joyo still gets the ball gone with 0 boost, you're not going to be able to follow that up. Leaving Endpoint once again to get out, but Rise, huge block. Can he get it again? No, this time around, Metanors found himself in the right spot. Once again, it's needed and needed. Team Queso, when they set themselves up, they are non-stop following through. Maybe another backward touch. This one too high and put away.
Potentially, Joyo blocked and moves away down here. So sitting patiently into the back lines and to the halfway line, just being blocked here by Endpoint. No, Crafters is sitting there, nail biting here, looking at the midline, looking at the passing lanes. And supporting his boys in blue here. It's a shot on target, saved off the line once more. Just pounding Endpoint, waiting to see where the break is, and the break not occurring, but it's a scramble in front of the box here. Endpoint should have been in the situation with a 3-2 scoreline, but somebody has to be back in time. They haven't until Relating Wave. Scramble from left and right here. This isn't breakfast time. It should be near enough, just starters.
Norris brings it back into the midfield. No one there to finish it off, so he has to go again. And can't do it all alone. Now, once again, gets another good touch. Still in front of the net, but not inside of the net. And right again, Team Queso survives their defensive hold and can push back out to the blue side. Relating Wave can't get it himself. Shots there from Joyo, but not past Metanors, and Seiko has a bit of a breakout. Can he get it down? He does get it down, but the shot hits the crossbar. It means Team Queso can break out once again.
Strong moves in, waving around. Metanors control the experience on those wheels that he controls right now. Relating Wave waiting for the pass, never arrives, beaten away here. Endpoint 2 in the back lines. Is it enough to stop Joyo? It seems to be temporarily. Back into middle. We're now near enough approaching 3 minutes of OT here, but a shot to the side, and Rear near enough gets one in. Not happening. Just not happening here for Team Queso, but Endpoint lives and fights, but the post saves him for the second time.
If Living on the Edge ever had an image and a video clip attached, it would be Endpoint right now. They are not comfortable at all. They are definitely being pushed back quite a lot. Now Fatira has the control. Can he get another touch? No, not himself. And I see a couple of bumps happening there from Norris. Brings it there again, but no one there to finish it off. Norris has brought that ball in front of the net so many times, and it's just no one there to finish it.
That's the problem. When you sit there and want somebody to finish it, the follow-up's not there, and Spooks, somebody's going to have to be brave enough to take that risk here. Who on this pitch is still likely to do? Because right now here, feels like nobody is brave enough just yet.
It's Norris non-stop bringing that ball in front, but we're looking at maybe Psycho to come to the front, get that finish, get that last touch that you really are in need of right now. As he takes control right here. Can he do it maybe all by himself? Gets the flip reset, but not past the defender. That means that Team Queso can reset themselves once again. Gets the ball fully gone. Makes everyone just get a bit of boost as Psycho looks to do it himself. The ceiling not working in his favor, and Norris with the control. And Danny, we may be looking at one of your dream scenarios.
If anybody doesn't know that, I've been asking for a 20-minute OT for I think 2.5 years. Record roughly around 18 minutes and 19 seconds. I believe it was the play. Rocket Baguette was the organizer. That shot him and his shot goes wide, so this OT still continues ticking on. Our friends, of course, the French Rocket Baguette is streaming on their particular channel here. On the English, we still do Battle, of course, streaming both games here. This ball left up here, fitted in the midline, really in the wave, can drag this one up and over, but resistance still being met here. And Team Queso, credit to this very much a young side here, keeping their nerves at bay.
Norris taking the control, looking to bring it back into the midfield once again. He does, but still no one there to finish it off. Leading to Fatira getting it out of his own part, out of his own corner. Now Rise getting it past the one. Can he get it past the second? It drops on down. Is there someone to finish it off? No! It gets saved and pushed to the side. A relating wave helps him with the second time coming. But Rise, so much time, but still not a goal. Both these teams are looking to create so much, but can't get past the defenders. Once again, everyone is holding on strong.
Just those 50s that Endpoint produced. Queso whips it from the side here. 6 minutes now, breathing down here. A mistake will haunt them, but this is only game one. Only game one in a potential best of 7 here in the quarter-final stage. Madness perceives and presumes as Joya looking to consume Endpoint. Not happening, and Norris from his original play didn't recover quick enough, but still upfield to do something more with the play. Hasn't fully occurred just yet. Ball has to be whipped in at some stage, and Queso deals with it up to the backboard, and there it is, dropping right in front for a related wave.
Rio trying to take control here, gets intercepted as well, and there's the follow-up, of course. Norris once again goes under the second, but can't get it past Fatira. And with the demo that leads to Endpoint having to reset themselves once again. Relating Wave trying his best to do it, maybe all alone, can't do it. Norris onto the backboard, gives a lot of free time to Psycho. Pass into the midfield, gets intercepted. Joyo saw it coming and leaves it all alone for Rise, who takes it all across the field and gives it away to Norris once again. Both these teams are really playing not to lose. You can see how much the defense is just trying their best to hold on to this overtime.
Relating the wave to the back lines. The OT knocks over with the long distance clear, and Norris tries to throw the similar punch downfield, and that's a shot coming off the post. It shall be. Follow through here, not going to roll its way in. It would be such a pathetic way if it was going to end. Not to occur here. Both sides want to finish off in some kind of style as Joyo downfield drops it but continues. Not enough to play on to it, however. And this one tipped to the ceiling. Psycho right to the back wall. Joyo to match it. Likewise, a swing into the middle, perhaps. Yes, of course, for Endpoint. And back into the middle of the field for Related Wave to Galler and Smother. And it's found a teammate likewise, but we're near enough, knocking on the door for 8 minutes in OT.
It's non-stop Endpoint. You see it creeping more and more in favor of Endpoint. They are the ones that get more shots on target, but what that can lead to is to a bit of easiness, and the easiness for Fatira to just shoot it on in. just past 8 minutes, and he finds the back of the net.
Last time Spooks and I cast it in some kind of a big major event, 20k prize. Well, this one was near enough, I believe, 9 to 11 minutes, roughly in that ballpark with Sandrock Gaming and Rick's GG. I said that was probably going to be one of the classics, and that was in game 6. This was only game 1, Spooks. We're going to have 7 more games in total, and I think they're going to be of similar quality here. What a way for this one to end so far.
If this goes the distance to game 7, if we get any more of these types of overtimes, I don't think my heart can handle that, Danny. I can already hear it beating as fast as it can right now. And we're only getting underway with game number 2 right now. An 8-minute overtime is something some casters can only dream of. And we've just had it in game 1 as Jojo looks to set himself up right from the get-go.
Some dream of 8 minutes, some fear it. If you're on the losing side of it, it's just regret here as a double touch goes beckoning. And Metsinoris doesn't go missing in the backlines. He's there for the counter, a 1-2, and nobody from Tween Queso. We saw 8 minutes of perfect Rocket League, and to some extent, with not conceding, well, it only took 25.
8 minutes. 8 minutes did the defense hold on. And now you have this, and that type of shot goes through. The wonders of Rocket League. Isn't it beautiful, Danny?
We'll be wondering for plenty more time here what is left in this bag of tricks here. It's near enough a year ago since we've been here before, doing this very much the same event here. And Christmas is only around the corner. Will there be more gift-giving here from Endpoint? Near enough a freebie in front of the net here. Infield pass, not happening. Nobody was there really. We will be thankful to Metsinoris pass to the back wall, whipped away.
Bit of patience, attempted patience coming out from Team Queso, but they cannot let up. You need to speed yourselves back up to how you played in that overtime. You need to be challenging every single ball. You cannot give so much freedom to Endpoint because it's once again Endpoint onto the offense. Relay wave, that ball just a tiny bit too far away from him, but this is a good touch once again for Tira. Looking for a solo attempt maybe this time around, gets the flip reset. Can he get the shot? It looks to do it, but there are 2 defenders up. Always gonna be an incredibly tough task.
Especially when Relaying Waves onto the back wall. Waiting patiently. Up it goes here at Metsinoris. The play temporarily after his failed attempt on winning the ball over. And Queso looking to continue further. Free shot! And I believe that was Metsinoris going flyby, trying to save that one.
Flyby and say bye-bye. And Fatira will say thank you much. Gets that shot, gets the angle, of course, most importantly. And gets his team back tied up. And I'm getting a tiny bit of deja vu from game number 1, which we also saw it just go back and forth and almost rise, getting it past Metsinoris.
Their coach, Nicholas, sitting there and just waiting for the opportunity, waiting to see what his team can do on one of the biggest stages. Will he be happy with the majority of his performance from his team? Except for the last 5 seconds, that's been the worst they've done so far.
I keep getting hyped. Team Queso comes out with beautiful goals, and then this comes in from Psycho, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot what you can do. You have to respect him though. Like, as a defender, you see Psycho go up for a flip reset. You have to respect it. You cannot just go at it like, oh, he's not gonna get this, or he's not gonna be able to do anything with this. He is. He's capable of it. So you are looking to defend that, and then he just completely does nothing with it, and it just bounces past you.
Well, shows you what you need to do. A bit of respect wouldn't hurt. Just gotta know what your opposition is truly capable of and play the percentage. Play the percentage. Spooks. It was once tied. Endpoint did take the lead. They've also lost it in the same amount of time.
I would love for people to see my face right now. It's just the face of, yeah, this just happened. Yeah. Because both these teams, remember, 8-minute overtime, 8 minutes of solid defense where nothing could get through. And now 2 of those goals back to back.
Well, this is going to be a catalyst-like performance here. We might see 16 minutes of an OT, but we'll see, of course, how this goes on further. Another block into the middle here, and Spooks. We were talking about that respect side of it here. Queso not necessarily giving any, but there's certainly need to be given some themselves here. Is that one off the post? We've seen Scrub Killer do an own goal. I don't think that was as good.
I still think the one from Dignitas where they pinch it into their own net is a bit better, but this is it's a clean double. It's a clean read from the backboard. It's not bad. Just that it was on the wrong net. That is bad, but it's Team Queso leading once again, 3-2. I think probably what everyone would like, especially Psycho, is just to move away from that.
Well, hopefully. But will that be the deciding goal in game number 2?
Oh,
no,
my.
it won't.
I'm just left speechless. Sorry for cutting you off, Danny, but... Jojo? Okay, I see you. I think you realized that maybe the goals needed to be a bit more spicy, a bit more... what do you call it, Danny?
Oh, I'll let you decide which word you want onto that flavor, because the full season of rack went onto that display. And has Team Queso let the season hit the cauldron? They've been brewing nicely. Endpoint, well, their tournament experience come into fruition here as that ball dropped down. Far too much back here, Endpoint here, but follows up nicely the second and third time, and that does not go in. The crossbar said no. Metzenorian's furious and relating away of fuming that he's third player in this rotation. He needs some assistance.
Once again, Jojo, can he do it once again? Brings it into the middle, but the shot not on target. Leaves it open for Psycho, but the quick shot that he tried to do just is a giveaway to Fatira. But Fatira gets punished by relating wave, but still an opportunity presenting itself. Back down from Team Queso, but they all back off. No, they are in the lead with 2 goals. No need to really get over-aggressive. No need to really get into the face of Endpoint all that much. Because 1 minute and 2 goals is an incredibly tough task.
It's a massive task, especially at this level of quality that's on the pitch here. You would not expect to see 2-3 goals moving down here. And my apologies to anybody from Dignitas, but it has occurred once before. Here's that one off to the back wall. That first series was madness on the field here. We will see some carnage surely later on, but so far singing in harmony. Team Queso 4-2 to the better with a clock to their favour. Could be easily 2-0 against the team that went to the major. There has seemed to be no response from Endpoint.
Psycho trying to do it himself, looking for some bumps, but this is a good, huge clear from Team Queso. Here comes the control from Norris, but it's not going to be enough, and the clock is ticking down, and it will tick down even further. And it means Team Queso takes their second game. And like you said, from a team that went to the major, this is not what you expect to see from Team Endpoint.
Well, we certainly didn't expect it. We certainly wanted to see something much more from them. But Spooks, let's look at the whole picture here. Team Queso has simply played a game that we did not expect them to fully have it. They have ramped up the gears. Now, you can maybe make an argument that Endpoint and the teams who went to the major might be having a bit sort of jet lag. They're not fully ready, have they played recently? But they know they have to come into, they know they have to perform as well too. Endpoint, they have performed, they just haven't got that one goal to really put Queso into their place.
I don't really trust that, like, oh yeah, we went to the major, oh yeah, we were a bit tired out. We've seen Sendrock just beat Navi. They didn't have any troubles with it. They just showed up and did exactly what was expected of a team that made a major. So, in that sense, why can't Endpoint? And Fatira answers exactly why Endpoint isn't up at all in this series.
Well, I'm just trying to give them a freebie potential excuse, Spooks. I'm trying to be generous. It is Christmas after all, but the door has been truly left open there on the back lines. Endpoint trails for the third time the series in Game 3. We haven't really seen a proper sweep so far in the quarterfinal. This is the best of 7. Might be ahead of ourselves slightly, but this is the picture that has been painted so far.
Well, Danny, it's already a quite a wonderful season of the year if you start being nice. So what's going on right now, I have no idea. Everyone that's in chat as well, just listen to your ears and just enjoy this moment. It won't happen very often where Danny isn't blaming a team.
There goes Scream there.
Okay.
You want Flame, there's certainly Flame now on the end point. They've allayed themselves here. Shocking to see the 50, but stuck in an awkward situation all on the left-hand side. and Endpoint see their opposition crumble properly for the first time in a while.
And correct placement. That's all you needed in that shot, and he got it exactly where he needed to be. Now Jojo getting it onto the backward. Is there a follow-up? Yes, Rise, but he had to be quick, and that led to an incredibly hard shot. That Psycho with the control, but gets blocked by Tira. Madsen Norris shots there. Jojo puts it to the side. Very much needed, but with zero boost, you can't follow that up yourself. Relating wave with the control, looking to get it under the second, can't, as the save comes out from Tira, but it's good offense from Endpoint, exactly what they needed, and it's going all the way to the other side, and Patira once again gets his second.
Just let that sink in. Right across here. Relating we have done his best, but his best was not good enough. Queso leads for the second time. With 90 seconds near enough gone by, we might just be on the verge of potentially looking at one of the upsets of the season so far, of 2021 entirely, as this ball back down here as Patera waits patiently, loses the ball. Metanoris can only see it really wave the push further upfield, and Rise smothers it into the corner twice.
A bit before our match, we saw Forfun Smiley Face be in a similar position as Team Queso right now. Are they gonna be able to do what Forfun Smiley Face was not able to do? Are they gonna be able to finish off maybe a sweep? Of course, we're only in game number 3, and it's only 2-1, but right now, with the way everything has been going, it's gonna be really hard for Endpoint to just come back into the series and look a lot better than what they are right now.
Well, Endpoint was watching the stream beforehand. They saw that match on their screens, and there's about to be, on the back of their minds, a thought like that creeping on in. They do not want to be the 22nd side that gets reverse sweep Queso, so they also have a bit of history and fate on their shoulders right now here, as this ball has to be banged downfield. No options here to really play onto it, and really wave has almost stood still for quite some time here. Is there a problem on Endpoint? We do not know just quite yet, but he has started moving. Strange to see that occurring.
Well, Psycho looking to set himself up for maybe a freestyle time, but no, gets blocked off by Jojo, who says no music for you, no freestyle for you. We won't be doing that right here. And now it's once again Team Queso onto the offense. Jojo shots there, getting blocked by Madsen Norris. Still Team Queso in a good position. Rise has the control, but can't get past Psycho. Now, good opportunity once again presenting itself, but this is the problem with Endpoint. And what's also a bit of a problem is Relating Wave not being able to move, and Rise just puts it on in. Says, thank you very much, we will not be nice to you. We will not give you the pity time to get back into this.
Well, while Fergal goes in here, Relating Wave was not moving clearly from the demo. There must be an issue with Endpoint. In all fairness, I just want to mention that clearly. He is moving once more again here as he left his controller down and discusses there are DC issues. We don't know quite just yet here. Whatever is the issue, it was still 2-1 before that situation. Queso was still on top here. So strange moments here in the third game here in this series. But it hasn't seemed to be affecting Relating Wave right now here, as he's still being on the front foot trying to attack here. The deficit might just be too far to come back from them though.
And we said about it, I talked about it before with Forfun Smiley Face being in a similar position. Quite honestly, I have a bit more faith in a team that has been together, has trained together, and is actually always playing together than a team that is more of a pickup team. I genuinely can believe that Team Queso is capable of sweeping it, and Crafters has to close his ears as he hears that, because I think some tears are running down his face as Jojo gets the fourth in the back of the net.
Well, without spoiling anything, Crafters will be at least the next caster on stream, and they'll certainly be mentioning it if it is a 4-0 sweep after the egging that he's been doing me for the entirety of the season long with Liquid. But I'll tell you what isn't Liquid, it's almost gas-like at the moment. Endpoint in a vapor right now. They are being passed through far too easily here, and Queso has almost found the answer beyond belief here. They cannot believe their eyes right now. 4-1 to the good. 30 seconds still left here. We might see the fifth one creep on in. We will certainly do so. Still secure, whatever you want to put it. This is 3-0 series-wise. There's no doubt about that.
Rice just looks so comfortable doing that. He's just like, oh, you're gonna go defend. Hi, I'm gonna go bring it back low for a 50. and he's just fully under control. And it's just the confidence, the confidence almost that you need. And you talked about Endpoint being a bit of a gas right now. I think Team Queso, also known as the Team of Cheese, doesn't have many holes in them, especially in the defense. They've been looking solid.
Trying to work out what type of cheese you may be referring to, but as Metanoris gets one back here, there might be a few holes left into that block of cheddar. Either way, 10 seconds ticking on by. This is just a formality so far here. There will be a few question marks. Let's not kid ourselves about relating with not moving for periods of the game there. Whether it was done deliberate, whether it was a DC or not here, they were still the beaten side here. Let's not forget this so far here, Spooks. But 3-0 Team Queso. Nobody would have thought that. Nobody would have placed into that percentage world. But we are here now.
There is one person I am really afraid of speaking to right now. And his name is Boyo Royo, because he predicted Team Queso to win this. If we get into if we have a green room, if we get into the green room, and I'm expecting him to be there, I don't want to be there right now. Because one, you have Crafters, who's very upset with the way Endpoint is going right now. And the other hand, you have Boyo, who's probably very happy right now.
Well, that's just emotions for you. What is going to be emotionally high right now will be certainly Queso. They are living the high life right now to the better here. We talked about the players stepping up to the plate here. We can't fault all three of them, because they have played reasonably well. They have been comfortable, they've been confident. Their biggest issue so far during their entire season was trying to beat the sort of the top edge echelons of the team. They can get there, they just need that bit of experience, that bit of belief. This might just be the catalyst for them in the future here, but we are 3-0 here. We talked about that reverse sweep possibility being the 22nd here if they do go to lose the next 4 games, Spooks. I don't see that happening though.
It could be, and I want to bring up a tiny bit of a thing. Game 1, we were 2-2 with 22 seconds left. How wonderful would it be if we got into the 22nd reverse sweep? It would be just a match made in heaven, really.
As long as it is quite literally a 20-minute OT at some point, I don't mind.
22.
Yeah, but I want a 20-minute OT with it.
Yes, but I say 22-minute overtime.
Nah, let's just go 20 minutes.
Well, Metanoris seems to be going on his way, and we seem to have Relating Wave back again as well now. Let's see if he can stop this thing and actually fully play, because that's, of course, when Endpoint is strongest. And in my eyes, right now, normally we look at Psycho being the strong suit of Endpoint. In my eyes, Relating Wave has been the one that has been trying to do a bit more of the solo plays, a bit more of creating those opportunities, really. Here he comes all by himself, doesn't get past Rise, though, who blocks him off quite fast.
There is Rise with the ball. Trying to set himself up here, gets the flip reset, not able to use it due to the block here, so really leave all his own. Metanoris, will he go for the bump or not? Well, he attempts it, and a few misplays all around here. The ball still in the final third. Seiko there around, no block. You're just wondering here, is this sort of ping-pong style of play will continue here, as that was a whisker away for a 1-0 lead.
Norris having the control, tries to get back into the front. That's Psycho hitting the ball up in an awkward spot for Rise, but it's also awkward for his teammates to defend. And this ball goes all the way back to the left side of the field. Shots there, shots a bit wide. Maybe the follow-up can bring it back in front of the net. Metanoris has the control, brings it back low. That's Fatira, of course, the one to block him off right from the get-go. And Psycho gets a bump and a demo. A very important one, because this opens up a bit more space for Team Endpoint. And Psycho, where did you come from? Why? What are you doing there?
Confusion, bewilderment, Endpoint, words that you would not use recent time to this Falbus team that has created some outstanding moments here, but right now this is the case, as there is an opportunity right hand side, sniped and gone, and that might be Endpoint gone from the tournament too.
We've talked about spices, we've talked about the cheese. This is just a chef's kiss right here. It's beautifully put down, and the shot placement is exactly where you want it to be. It's too far for the defenders to even get close to it or get any important touch on it, and it's just a good opener once again. Within 2 minutes, Team Queso once again in the lead. Fatira looking for the controlled touches, gets on top of Psycho, who now has to struggle to get back into the defense. Once again, there comes Jojo, gets blocked off by the one that got bumped beforehand. Shots there once again, and Rise makes it 2.
Just sit here and look at it. Remember, Team Queso for the future. This side has been potent so far here. Cannot save that endpoint. They cannot seem to save themselves from elimination with half the game still to go. They have to fight game by game, and so far, second by second it seems.
I think for Team Endpoint, it's not that bad to maybe go lose against a team like Team Queso. It is a team that is known to bring upsets, to take wins where people were like, how do you even get there? They are capable of doing that, fully capable, but for Team Queso, this is such a perfect moment. It's now or never, and you have such a good setup to finish this off in a sweep against the team that went to the majors.
Metanor's moving downfield here, not happening. Relating wave, waits patiently in the back lines for the time being, then that's just a poor flick here. They expect a little bit more here, back into the middle. Metanor is straight down and around here, so again, the simple opportunities go awry here to the back wall here and follow through. Relating wave does show up, at least to give them some kind of hope.
Gives them enough hope, as this is the perfect timing, and exactly what I already expected that happened. I believe it's a bit of an own goal, sadly enough, but there were 2 people up for that. That ball would have entered the net one way or the other, and unfortunately for Team Queso, it went in with an own goal. But now it's Metanor looking to get that second quite quickly, because for Endpoint, you don't want to leave that second goal hanging until the last 30 seconds. You want to get that goal as quick as possible.
So pop up. Same 3 goals, and you want the 4th one quick enough here if you're Endpoint. So far, they're back away here as this ball's just been left in awkward situations. Nobody able to get a piece of the ball that it really is controllable. A free shot here off the line. Once again, Queso trying to break through. They haven't done so just yet here, but it's only a matter of time, it feels like, as this ball back in here. Metanor's to the right-hand side. The ball does eventually go that way. It seems not here, and Rise pops it high up, wide open net. 3 goals to 1 in game 4, and I personally would call that GG's.
This is the one thing you don't want to see happening. A defender so far pushed up that it just gives Rise so much freedom to shoot that ball on target, and it just bounces on him. And with 1 minute, exact 1 minute left, Team Endpoint needs to be quick as can be, as Rise tries to get a 4th shot still there. Follow-up is there as well. Ball goes high in front of the net, and it's the 4th, and the last nail in the coffin has been put down.
Well, Endpoint removed swiftly. They've only got themselves the blame for the loss. Did they really show up? Well, that's maybe a point that might would like to consider themselves here with the next 40 odd seconds. It's almost like a stagnation here for Team Queso. They'll be moving on. Really, at that point in time here is who is the likely between Team Vitality versus Team Liquid. That will be their potential semi-final matchup here on the Monaco Gaming Show, but that there will be a series and a half as well too. But Spooks, credit here to Team Queso, they've looked fabulous.
Yes, and of course now Endpoint looking for maybe getting one more themselves, but it's nothing, it's not gonna mean much anymore. Of course, last 20 seconds, both these teams know this game has been played, this game is done. A 5th coming around for Rise, meaning 5-1 for Team Queso. And the last 3 games have just really walked away for Team Endpoint. They've just not been able to get back into the series. And it's just Team Queso amping up goals after goal after goal, one after another.
Well, they're just stat pattern, apparently so, and I know the few of the statistics sites when the RLC will be enjoying this one for the number crunching, the processing required for that activity. But so far here, still plenty more action still to come shortly here. Both semi-finals, grand finale played, all of them best of 7s, but Endpoint will take no further action. They are out. Team Queso moves on quite happily, and Spooks, I must say, the first ever 4-0, I didn't think this was going to be the match that had it.
Honestly, looking at the games beforehand, I thought, oh, this is going to be a match. This is going to maybe go to game 7. Out of all of the games, This one and the one with Sandrock and Navi were the ones I thought, oh, they're most likely going to Game 7. Nope, 4-1 and 4-0 this one. You never know what's going to happen with Rocket League. You never know. And especially, let me remind you, Danny, Game 1, 8-minute overtime. We were thinking of maybe this game going to Game 7, getting a lot more overtimes, a lot longer overtimes. How wrong were we?
Completely wrong, and so was a majority of everybody's predictions as well. Near enough, I think it was near enough 90% endpoint win. Well, there's going to be some casters quite smug, some crying in the back room. We might even see one on this very broadcast shortly as well. Coming up next after this break, of course, is Team Vitality versus the very much peculiar Team Liquid. Will they have a roster finally worthy of competing? We'll see after this break.
Ce que tu vois là, c'est Nice Cactus. C'est la plateforme e-sport tout en un allant du simple entraînement jusqu'au sponsoring. La plateforme s'est mise à jour récemment pour offrir plus de clarté et de fonctionnalités aux joueurs. Tu peux par exemple découvrir des entraînements sur 4 jeux majeurs, mais aussi suivre ta progression grâce à Route Tracking, la Nice Cactus 360 app. En parlant de progression, il ne faut pas oublier que participer à des tournois te permet d'affronter des joueurs de tout niveau et de te confronter à de nouveaux défis. Et ça tombe bien, puisque Nice Cactus te propose des tournois tous les jours sur plusieurs jeux. Et en plus de te permettre de progresser, la plateforme te permet de remporter des cash prizes et tout ça gratuitement. Alors n'attends plus et rejoins-nous sur Nice Cactus.
Welcome back to the Monaco Gaming Show. The advertisements you just saw there from our fabulous sponsors, of course, Players, the streaming service, allow users to watch video clips on demand and through their devices, mobile and PC. And our good friends, of course, Nice Cactus, we've seen plenty of them, who is the streaming platform, competitive tournaments all around, 35 different games, Fortnite, Rocket League, we've seen all of that as well too. We're going to go to our next series as well, and Spooks, there is two good friends of ours we would like to invite on this broadcast as well. The very much fabulous Relic and unfortunately, the man who will be flooding with tears, Craftman. We'll start with you, Crafters. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, that was heartbreaking to watch from an Endpoint's perspective. That was yeah, I don't know, because like Endpoint have just been fantastic this split. Coming top 8, even like in the major, top 8 in the major, winning 2 regionals out of 3. It was absolutely fantastic. But the last few games that I've seen Endpoint play, that one just there, and of course the game against FaZe, something's just not been clicking. I don't know if it's due to burnout or anything like that, but yeah, it's not been a good end to the year for Endpoint, but I'm sure the winter break will help them out significantly going forward.
Well, speaking about a winter break, there is no break seem to be for the Chiefs themselves, really, because Team Queso, they look fabulous. What an excellent performance for 3 newcomers to the scene as well. We've seen them plenty of times on the rocket here, especially through the smaller tournaments, moving up. Nice Cactus, our sponsor, we're talking about, played in the very of those events as well too. They just seem to be an unstoppable young force. It's just what's the next sort of roadblock for them? It seems nothing at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like Team Queso is starting to build up a bit of a reputation for themselves of signing the hot young prospects of the region, right? And I think that in this trio, they do have a genuine good shot at definitely top 16 for various RLCS regionals, maybe even top 8 for RLCS regionals. We'll have to wait and see. I do think it was a bit of an off day for Endpoint. Gave me real top blokes vibes from last year. In fact, it gives me kind of invitational vibes from last year. Of course, in the 2020 edition, we had, again, 4 invitational teams, and they didn't exactly do that well. In fact, I remember a certain Team BDS that isn't here actually fell in the quarterfinal stage as well. So I don't think it's any discredit at the moment for Endpoint, but they won't want to let that performance in particular be the standard going forward.
Well, gentlemen, you talk about last year as well too. One of the teams that failed to really make it last year, failed in qualifier 4 to the very much BDS roster. There was a roster by the name of Speed, Fruity, And Ronicky. What was that? What was that name, Spooks, out of interest?
I tried to forget for you, Danny. For you, I tried to forget what they're called. And thankfully for that, the name they were under, that team, is currently still playing. The name is still playing. It's just a completely different roster this time around.
Well, that roster, Team Liquid as well too. Maybe I might be crying like Crafter was after the last break as well too. We'll go with you, Relic, on this one, because I would like to sit here and talk about statistics. Of all the teams, all 8 that started here, Team Liquid is the only team that has no RLCA stats. They are an abysmal team, to be truthfully honest. And I'm going to use such a strong word to my heart, a diabolical team. They have not performed at all, and it breaks my heart to say that.
You know it's bad when the Danny Diabolical comes out. But look, Danny, for me, with this particular roster, I think the only way is up. In the qualifiers, we saw them take part with, well, a relatively fresh-faced youngster in Oski. We've seen him taking part in 1v1, 2v2 tournaments where he can. He's a youngster, though, 14 years old, unable to take part in the RLCS. But interestingly enough, for this, the grand finals of the Monaco Gaming Show 2021 edition, they've also dropped Ronicky. So Acronic now the only surviving member of this roster. In comes A-Town. Now, you might be familiar with him from Big Stizzy, or as I like to call him, the Big Stizzy. It sounds like a gangster name. They did play pretty gangster indeed in the qualifiers, but they didn't actually qualify for the tournament. Liquid have clearly seen something in him. Also, another 14-year-old is A-Town, and we were talking about this backstage with one of our wonderful admins in John, aka Always, with Crafters. It feels like this is almost like a roll of the dice for Liquid. Look, your team hasn't been working for the full split. Okay, that's fine. But in 2 youngsters, you know that by Regional 3 of the Winter Split, they'll be eligible. Try and build up the synergy now, see how it goes, take that first regional, or take that third regional, I should say, and see where it progresses from there. The worst case scenario is it all falls apart again. You've not really moved backwards, Team Liquid. The best case scenario is that these are 2 of the best young prospects in EU Rocket League at the moment, and you got yourself a banger team going forward.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Liquid do, like you said, with the guys not being eligible until that last regional of Winter Split. So the question for Liquid going forward is, do you just wait until that chance comes along to sign these guys long term, or do you just tear it down and start all over again? That's going to be the question for Liquid over the next few months.
I'm going to avoid answering that question because I know I'll get a few angry DMs here. But the Golden Striker, not on the pitch here, but as Relic used the phrase here, will there be a stick-up by Vitality against Liquid? And Spooks, this time last year, for a bit of historical value as well, there was a hold-up here, a massive robbery. Vitality was almost cleaned out. 3-1 against Solary, the original winners of this event here. And that roster, Exotic, Kyrian, and Tox. What if all this roster theirs? They failed to make it so here. So I'm going to ask you very boldly here to head to the predictions here. Vitality or Liquid?
Well, normally I would pick Vitality in a heartbeat. But right now, with Oski and Atal playing with a Chronic, I want to believe in the youngsters. Let me remind you, a combined age of 15 and then really on the low end of 15 of all those 3 players. I'm going to believe in the youngsters. I'm going to say Team Liquid.
Oh, that's bold as well too. I'm going to give my prediction, gentlemen, and I'm going to hand it over to you to debate it. I'm going to say very confidently that Team Liquid will lose this. It's Vitality all the way. 4-0 as well too. Take it away.
Oh wow!
No, it's spicy when Danny's picking against Liquid.
It's always spicy, isn't it? But look, I'm hearing what Spooks is saying, and I kind of get it at the same time, because look, we're not talking about Vitality that are fresh off 3 regionals and a major win. We're talking about Vitality who really did not do well at all in the full split, all things considered. Yes, they made it to the major. Whoop-de-doo. You also went out on day 2, the first time that KDOP has not made it to the final day of a RLCS major event since season 2. Yes, that was 4 or 5 years ago. Now, look, end of a dynasty, was it always bound to happen? Yeah, sure, maybe. But it does show that this Team Vitality is vulnerable. I think we learned that through last year with Team BDS. And Liquid, as I said, the only way is up for this team. And I think this is a series where they really have nothing to lose, Crafters.
They really don't have anything to lose, and really both these teams coming into this one, Relic, is they're both teams you would say are in some kind of turmoil. We already spoke about the roster changes that Liquid are potentially making with Oski and Atau. But you've also got to look at Vitality. There's a lot of calls for them to make roster changes as well, but I suppose when you have three players who are so well known in the scene and the superstars that they are, especially with K-Dop and Fairy Peak not performing at our best, you look at Vitality and say, where can you make a roster move? I think most people would instantly say, all right, Alpha's got to go because you're not getting rid of Fairy and K-Dop. But then you look at Alpha's stats, and he's the best statistical player on this Vitality roster, so there's absolutely no chance you're getting rid of him. The question is it Fairy or is it K-Dop? That's going to be a really difficult question that they're going to have to answer over the next few weeks.
I mean, is it a question that they have to answer, though? Is this just a sticky period? I also find it, like, I don't know whether there's a sense of irony or a sense of sadness or what you want to call it, but do you remember the days when Vitality specifically got rid of Scrub Killer to accommodate Alpha? They were so desperate to get him that they kicked off a world championship winning player. And we will talk about Scrub Killer at some point as well, given that, wow, what a resurgence he's having this season with Dignitas. I would have said after the last chance Saloon had passed him by, but hey, you take the chances that you're given. And that's what I'm looking at really with this Team Liquid roster. I noticed chats asking, where is Liquid's captain? Where is Ronicky? Well, look, Danny has lost all Danny is the most Team Liquid of Team Liquid casters. He has lived and breathed the blue horse for so long. And over the course of last season, over the course of the start of this season, he's just lost all faith. And rightfully so. I know that there's a lot of Team Liquid fans out there, but goodness me, this team, this org has been underperforming. For an org of this stature not to be making even top 16 of regionals is quite simply unacceptable. And so something has to change. Something has to give. And if we're going to go with the youngster route, hey, why not? If you're not able to pick up the best of the best, if you're not able to attract that star power, hey, listen, I'm a supporter of Swansea City FC down in the championship. We're known for bringing through our youth system. It does work in esports as it works in real life, be it in racing, in football, in whatever. Let's see whether it works with this Team Liquid squad as they get us started in this best of 5 for the final quarterfinal.
Yeah, I fully agree with your point that Liquid, as an organization, they really should be having a team towards the top end of the field. But ever since they came into the scene, you know, a few years ago, the team with, who did they come in with? Was it Speed, Ronicky, and Cookser, I believe it was?
Yes.
Yeah. Ever since they signed them, they were one of the hottest teams at the time. Liquid snapped them up. It's like, oh god, yeah, Liquid's in the scene, absolutely fantastic. And it's just a spectacular nosedive, a complete faceplant ever since they come in. So this Team Liquid, not just the players, but the organization just wants to make a huge bounce back over the course of the next few months of RLCS.
Yeah, if Qualifier 1 was the last of Ronicky on this Team Liquid roster, and the Acronicky experiment, the Acronicky era, didn't last very long. They'll be hoping that the era of Oski and Atau may yet have many more years to come. It's scoreless so far as we come and go with the first minute. Team Vitality not really threatening too much. It has pretty much been Liquid all on the offensive. Infill pass denied at the front post by K-Dop. In comes Atau with another big save away from Alpha. Again, Liquid have nothing to lose. Team Vitality know that they are the one that will potentially, Crafters, have egg in their face if this goes the wrong way. And
there's going to be a lot of eyes on this Vitality side to see how they do today. If they go and lose to Liquid, that's so bad for their, just as an optics thing. And going out in the first round of a tournament like this, Vitality should be towards the sharp end of every single tournament that they compete in. Especially with the veteran instincts of K-Dop and Fairy, and with Alpha being as good as he has this season. It's just been underwhelming from a Vitality perspective for this fall split.
A Chronic in field. There's Oski's to chase. Atau already rocking the Liquid Fennec. You can tell he's excited here. It's a big step up from the big Stizzy. That much is for sure. But again, Team Liquid looking to just gamble a little bit on someone who's shown a bit of promise. Alpha to the midfield. Oski holds it up well enough. His Fairy Peak. That's going to be intercepted as well. A lot of loose passes here from Team Vitality. Team Liquid looking to pounce upon it. Slowly moving up the field are Vitality. Again, denied. Infield by Oski. Taken off him by a Chronic. Now the most experienced member on this team. Doesn't feel right to say that, but look at that shot from Alpha. Whistles wide.
And that's the thing about Vitality, why they've been so poor this season, is their shooting accuracy, their shooting percentage has been one of the worst in the league. You look at just the individual stats, Fairy Peak and KDOP have less than 20% shooting accuracy. And the league average, only 19 players are below a 20% accuracy, the league average being 21.08, as Alpha again just gets that one saved by Ato. The efficiency from Vitality when it matters most is just not where it used to be.
Well, Oski had a chance. They've had a couple of chances here, Liquid. They've not been able to make Team Vitality pay. However, a 0-0 scoreline is certainly preferable to going down by one. Their defense has been solid so far, and that certainly is something fresh and new for Team Liquid fans, I'm sure. Except immediately curse to the commentator. I'm so sorry.
It's your fault, Relic. It's all you. But this is well played by Alpha. Gets the bump on him as well, and the defense for Liquid just offering that one on a silver platter to KDOP. 1-0 for Vitality, but they worked seriously hard to get themselves into this position. Let's see what Liquid can respond with.
Working hard's an interesting way of putting it as well, because I felt like the attack has been a little bit lazy from Vitality so far. It's not lacked direction, but it's lacked a lot of intensity, and that is something that we can give this Liquid roster plenty of credit for. Intensity in offense, intensity in defense. They just haven't had the rewards to show for it just yet.
It was
Loose.
more, sorry, really.
Oh, no,
I was just going to say that it was more hard work in the fact that Vitality had so many shots on the Liquid net there, most of them going high and wide and into keepers. But the shot volume is there. It's just the quality of the chances is just lacking.
Yeah. KDOP from the back, dribbles past Atao. There's a Chronic in the anchor roll. You can see Atao staying around, just trying to bump or interfere. It doesn't really come to anything. That's loose through. But Atao's back, looking for a Chronic. Off to the backboard. And good defense there by Alpha 54. Atao keeps it locked into the corner. And again, credit to Liquid. They are really keeping Vitality pinned back. But much as their attack has been lackadaisical, Vitality's defense has also been very calm. I would say sedate at times, but it cannot be sedate no longer. The two youngsters combine.
Yeah, that's just a bit of a misplay by KDOP, and you see Alpha just hovering about, not sure where to position himself, and Ato will just hand that over to Oski. Fairy Peak has nothing to do with that play, and Liquid finally tie this score up. They've been pressuring a fair bit ever since that goal went in from Vitality, and they finally get their man through.
That's timely. Very timely indeed. Less than 10 seconds left on the clock. That towards net, not threatening. Another shot towards net. That a lot more threatening. A connection there, and we're talking Vitality with game number one as it stands. It looks like overtime is our destination. Indeed it is.
Oh, if you're a Liquid fan, you just clench just seeing that ball go across the face of the net with all three men in the air in no position to make a solid enough save. They're just lucky that no one from Vitality was there to make a solid enough shot. But now KDOP in space won't have a lot of boost. Alpha will come in and hand that one off. Oh, and Liquid just surviving at the end of regulation.
I tell you what, Atao performing a very similar role here than he did at the Big Stizzy. Again, going back to one of those more classic anchor-style meta players, really, where he's staying safe rather than sorry. I know he got the assist as well. He knows when to move up the pitch. Very intelligent and very self-assured for such a young head on what seems to be very broad shoulders there at the back. Certainly a Chronic going to stop this charge from Fairy Peak. Got some boost to work with. Side wall intercepted by KDOP. That's loose. Fairy Peak towards net, but not on target necessarily. Alpha again intercepted by a Chronic. This midfield pestering from Team Liquid is keeping them in the game.
Yeah, they're meeting Vitality every chance, and even when Vitality do get a through on net, just like that, Alpha does shoot from midfield, so nothing really all too threatening as Ato was there to meet it. Yeah, every shot that Vitality is getting on this Liquid net is just
Oh,
you
that's
would
a
say
freebie.
weak, but again, the defense cleared out. Liquid had a chance, no accurate shot coming through though.
And that's just confidence in each other. And I guess confidence in knowing that you can go ahead and win this series. That's the second open net opportunity where they've just got to put power on down the other side of the pitch. Make that
Kano,
three now.
oh my
As that's a
goodness.
huge demo in midfield from Alpha. Again, A-Tow's there. And their posters are chronic. Team Liquid lead.
And this was K-Dot's mistake from the get-go. Has that chance to put it into the corner on the backboard. It would have delayed Liquid enough that Vitality to get into a defensive position, but he misses it and Liquid pounce when the iron is hot. 1-0 Liquid in this series.
Hello. We have ourselves a series, folks.
We do.
Danny Boy ATM predicting the 4-0 sweep via Vitality. First time of asking, this squad says no. And I know that wasn't Team Vitality, all pistons pumping at their very best. But goodness me, does that look like a good roster? Really, really good in the midfield. Intercept, 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 not giving Vitality a moment. And okay, their defense cracked once. But Crafters, it was once in